Treasury Company report, Saylor is mining Bitcoin. Not literally, but he is mining Bitcoin with this stretch preferred stock that finally seems that the market is understanding it. And when the market is crashing, stretch is at par. We are going to discuss that. We are going to discuss what is happening with Mara Holdings. And with me, I'm with Immortal. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. Yeah, you say you can. Now we realize we have two ways to mine Bitcoin. One is the hard way, put energy and hardware equipment, cool it down, do all that shit, mine Bitcoin, 450 per day, and you fight with another 20 big companies. Or you can financially mine Bitcoin Saylor way, and you can produce twice as much per day.
It's incredible. And in Indonesia, we have our friend, Italian friend, Marco Battistoci. How are you doing?
Yeah, guys, I'm doing great. I have some problem of connection. I really hope the connection will be more stable. Doing great. Actually, a bit more optimistic now while I'm seeing the Bitcoin price and also MSTR price in IBIT. We will discuss, I'm sure, later in our conversation. So yes, I think now time might play in our favor. So I think we are consolidating and want to see more news. But as you said in the opening, Fernando, stretch seems to be the instrument to focus now. They just closed more than 200 million in volume in one day, which I think is the record. So yeah, I think the setup is pretty incredible. So.
Yes, on YouTube we are live as well, and I put a poll. What do you think about Saylor's strategy? Brilliant, good, but unsustainable, or a total scam? Of course, I think that we all agree that it's brilliant. The thing is, the good but unsustainable, I heard or I read on Twitter from an Argentinian financial guru that he says that it's unsustainable.
Any argument for that?
So probably
no, it's just an opinion.
The stupid opinions that they give us. They don't understand. Not many people in the world understand Bitcoin treasury companies, and unless people in Latin America understand treasury company. Before going to the topics that I want to discuss today, we can talk a little bit about what happened the last night in Hong Kong, in Asia, that markets crashed in United States due to United States war, but Bitcoin didn't crash. Instead, it's increased the price a little bit. What do you think about that?
I would say that Bitcoin is like the fastest in moving in both directions, because we know the property. It's always open. It's always tradable 24/7, 365. There is no central authority that can manipulate it, close, stop, or halt the trading. It's probably the most efficient market out there. And again, the strike against Iran was done on Saturday. So probably the price of Bitcoin was already a bit discounted in the days before. And I think, yes, it's overall the smoking alarm. So Bitcoin probably corrected way before than the stock market, corrected way before than other instruments. So maybe now, if it's true that Bitcoin is holding this level, maybe we can see the S&P 500 to correct, the Nasdaq to correct, the major index in the EU or in Japan to maybe correct, because Bitcoin already corrected pretty severely from the all-time high. So I think Bitcoin moves first, and I never believe that Bitcoin moves after gold or moves after the stock. It makes no sense. It's the most open, most transparent, and the most liquid, so moves first.
And things are moving so quick. I have the feeling that every week we have like a year's long of news. Every week we are bombed by something. This time, literally bomb Iran, everything crash again, come back. We are in the middle of the chaos. And obviously Bitcoin was already hurt. So it was a hard soldier on this battle, and we will crash again. Now, what's going to happen with the S&P and Wall Street in general is the bigger question, right? Because we are still so much correlated with NASDAQ and the IGB that I'm my main worry at this time is not Bitcoin at all, but what's going to happen with the S&P in general, the QQQ. If the stock markets will collapse, I'm afraid that it will drag down Bitcoin again. But let's see.
Yeah, let's see. During the bombs, we were hosting a space with Marco in Italian. So I want to announce that before the end of the year, we are going to record a podcast with Marco in Italian. So we will speak in Italian. So parliamo in italiano. So
nessun problema. Sei un grande, Fernando, lo sai benissimo italiano. Quindi.
Can I listen in Italian and reply in Spanish?
If you understand, I was telling Marco that I always say that I can speak Italian. And he said, it's super easy to speak Italian. Of course you can speak Italian. No, because I studied Italian. And when we were in Lugano, people started speaking to me in Italian. He didn't understand what they were talking about. And I was answering in Italian, understanding. So it's not so easy to speak in Italian. But yeah, I'm relearning, and I will be doing a podcast with Marco in Italian. People will laugh because if my English is not perfect, my Italian is even worse. So it's gonna be funny, but it's a good challenge. Yeah,
my Spanish is 0, so I mean, kudos to you that you want to do it. So Fernando, it's cool.
So let's go to the topics that we have for today. Let me share the slides, and we will discuss with Marco and with the audience. If you want to do some question or something on YouTube, you can. So here we are. Saylor strategy keeps selling. They keep selling dirty fiat to buy more Bitcoin. So strategy has acquired 3,015 Bitcoin for 204 million at 67,700 per Bitcoin. As this week, they hold 737,000 Bitcoin at an average price of 75,985 per Bitcoin. I was not expected this amount of Bitcoin. I thought that they were gonna buy around 700 or 1,000. It surprised me, but that's good news. In the middle of a super huge bear market, Saylor is still able to raise money and buy more Bitcoin.
Remember this meme where it's Trump? On the background is the market all in red, and he's saying, we are tired of winning. No, you're not tired. You have to keep winning. Well, let's say we can do a similar for Saylor. Please, Mr. Saylor, stop selling Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's incredible. So, like now they have 727.37. It's incredible. Everyone were talking about that they will be liquidated. They have to sell Bitcoin. They are still buying. It's incredible.
Yeah, me actually, I follow what you said, guys. I was surprised about the amount, the 3,000 plus BTC. I was expecting less, and probably I was expecting a bit more from Stretch. But last week he's still smashing the ATM on MSTR because the MNAB is now above 1.2, which again, considering the bear market, considering Bitcoin CAGR at all-time low, considering the volatility to the downside, it's pretty impressive to see such a big company now with all this capital to still trade at a premium in a bear market. Because again, on the previous bear market, they traded way below 1 at 0.75, 0.8, and they stay suppressed for months. Now, I can barely remember if they went even once below 1. So I think it's pretty impressive, pretty remarkable, the power that they have on the balance sheet. And I think we should expect much more from Stretch this week because already in the couple of days, like in Monday and Tuesday, they had massive volume from Stretch. Stretch was pegged around 100. So I think we should expect quite substantial more Bitcoin coming from this preferred, which is, again, all the new thesis for strategy now.
Yeah,
Can we share that screen now?
The strategy screen.
The live. Put down that one for a little bit.
Yes.
But you have to close
I have to, let me close this. Yes, we are gonna share another screen.
The dashboard, the STRC live dashboard.
Mm-hmm. That one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what Marco was talking about is this part, where on the first day of the session, they will technically be able to buy 763 Bitcoin, which is almost double of the mining of the day. Yesterday, almost 1,000 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, on this, and this is just with the price staying there around 100 and a few cents. So this is the power that people is still not seeing. Imagine what's going to happen when Bitcoin runs up, and now the inflows to Stretch are not only the 200 million per day that you mentioned, but we are in the range of 1 billion, which could easily happen on a Bitcoin bull run. Imagine how much more Bitcoin we are going to be able to financially mine every fucking single day. It's going to be mind-blowing. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I remember the poll that we have last week that we were asking if Saylor was going to buy more Bitcoin. And many people said that that he was not going to buy, and he bought 3,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, casually 200 million, yes. And if we should all remember that the first purchase from Strategy back in August 2020 was 250 million, which was half of the cash that the company had. And now they just, and this 500 million of total cash, they created it over 20 years, 25 years of business. And now they can casually buy 200 million in 1 week. So if we put those numbers in perspective, it's literally, almost incredible even to realize and to think that it's possible, but it is. And probably, as Diego said, they will increase over time with the Stretch.
That is only with Stretch. We didn't include there MSTR, which is probably 3 times bigger than that amount. So I think at least in these 2 days, we already been able to buy 5,000 Bitcoin. Expect the big number next week. Unless something catastrophic happen in the next 3 days of the week with more bombs coming. But either way, it's going to be a big number.
Yes, and again, I want to point that this is happening on a bear market. That Marco said that this Stretch is a good instrument for bear market. For me, it's good during the bear market, but it's gonna be even better on a bull market. When all the eyes are put on Strategy, when Saylor overcome all this FUD of these months, when Strategy is back at $500 price per share, Bitcoin is over 130, 150. All the eyes, everyone is going to start calling Saylor a genius, and people will go to find fixed income on Stretch and other instruments that Saylor create, and he will be able to buy even more Bitcoin. That's the point.
Yeah, and so maybe we should also point out one last thing on Stretch. It is still very new instrument. And again, the more it trades and the more Stretch will increase in notional value. I think now we are 3.5, 3.6 billion. Imagine at the end of this year, they have, 5, 6, or 7 billion in Stretch. Then the capacity of Stretch also to be more pegged to 100, it's much higher, because every marginal dollars will impact less because the total notional value is much bigger. So I think in 1 year, when this thing will be 7 or 10 billion, it will be much more complicated to depeg from 100, and therefore will be much easier for Strategy to sell more and to increase the sellability of this instrument. So I think it will be very interesting to see the dynamics in a bull run, and to see the capacity and the relativity compared to the other instrument. I think will be very, very interesting, and it will be the first time because Stretch was launched mid-2025. So
yes, and this brings me to what Diego says a couple of weeks ago. Can STRC replace the S&P 500, the index?
Still very small, but I think that's why Saylor is so consistently executing this strategy week after week, because when this instrument gets bigger, it also increases the amount of issuance they can do, which increase the amount of Bitcoin you can hold, which improve also your rating. So it's also related to how big it can get. That's what was Marcon pointing out.
Okay, so let's share the next. Let's come back to the slides. Next one is Strategy is now a Bitcoin mining company. With Stretch at pair, they are able to mine Bitcoin on a daily basis. So that's why, because I saw many tweets comparing, I think that Adam Livingston put it, what the comparison between how many Bitcoin Stretch produces compared with how many Bitcoin are mined every day. In fact, yesterday, Stretch produced almost 1,000 Bitcoin. And remember that every day we produce 450 Bitcoin. The world produce. And it's not possible to mine more. So if people understand basic mathematics, understand the amount of money that can come to Strategy, and understand that only can mine 450 Bitcoin per day, they need to understand that Bitcoin price can go super parabolic immediately. So that's the point.
And you guys remember when Saylor tweeted, I think a few months ago, probably more than half year ago, about this cryptic tweet saying, but what if suddenly in the market will appear a new buyer of last resort buying all the mining Bitcoin every day for the rest of time, something like this. And I think what he was referring to himself or Strategy itself, that with all these suites of instruments, these different tools that they have, they can literally buy the whole new supply of mined Bitcoin every day. Because as you said, Fernando, in a couple of days, they had more than 1,000 BTC. And again, we are 450 Bitcoin every day. And after the next halving will be 225. So if Saylor can keep this kind of pace, I think he can offset by himself. Only one company can offset the new mine supply of Bitcoin, which it's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's probably what is going to happen. But obviously, as we are here in the bottom of a bear market, nobody can see it, or nobody actually are strong enough to tell it. But in hindsight, when this happens, it's going to be so obvious that this is the way. Strategy is going to keep buying consistently way more than it can be mined. And then at some point, that scarcity that we always talk about Bitcoin is going to start actually manifesting itself in the price.
Yeah, the famous gradually, and then suddenly. That's the point. The thing is that many people don't see yet. They only see when Bitcoin reaches all-time high, because they are driven by the price, especially the traders, because they follow these traders. And when you see the Bitcoin fundamentals, they haven't changed. So just change the price. And the price is a variable that will change and will go up sooner or later because of the fundamentals. That's the point. So, but yeah, I like to say that Saylor is mining Bitcoin now.
Yeah, it's in a synthetic way it is. So, yeah.
Yes, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but we share the screen of Stretch. We can go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move to the next slide to discuss another topic that I want to discuss. Mara is the second company with the biggest bag of Bitcoin. It's around 53,000 if we remove BlackRock, because BlackRock, they don't hold, they just custody. But after Strategy, the company that most Bitcoin have is Mara. And there is a lot of FUD saying that Mara is trying to sell all their Bitcoin because they are switching to AI data centers. What I read about that, of course, all the FUD is that they will sell all the Bitcoin that they have. What I read or what I discovered is that they are not going to sell Bitcoin. They just filed something on the SEC planning to sell a bit of Bitcoin. I think that Marco has more information about this topic.
Yeah, so I'm following Mara for like 1.5 years. Probably it's the most hated stock, maybe even more than Saylor, because it's like much smaller, but sometimes they got like completely destroyed on X, and for some good reason, because at some point they had very high expenses for the C-suite from the board of director. They have done some, a bit late to the AI party and to the pivot. So, I mean, it was really hated. But as you said, it's the second largest public company with Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now they are transitioning portion of the energy that they allocated before only to Bitcoin, also to some deal with the hyperscaler and AI HPC deals. And only recently they changed the 10K, which is a document that you need to file for the SEC. And they just changed some wording, legal stuff. And then this change was like retweeted by endless bots on X, trying to create this FUD that now Mara is selling all the 53,000 BTC, similarly to some other players, a smaller player, that they recently sold Bitcoin to do the pivot in AI. Mara already did partially the pivot into AI with a massive deal, and they are already using portions of their own Bitcoin in the balance sheet into some yielding instrument to earn some more yield and to use some liquidity. This might be in line or not in line with Bitcoin Maxi, probably not. But so far, they never sold Bitcoin. They only sold like very, very tiny fraction for some operating expenses and try not to dilute shareholders. But overall, the trend is in an uptrend. So again, I expect they won't sell Bitcoin. They might increase their capacity of lending the Bitcoin that they already have, which again might be debatable, but I'm pretty sure they won't sell the large portion, and nevertheless they won't sell the entire stack. It's completely nonsense.
Yes, what happened is that as they are a public traded company, they need to report all the moves that they do to SEC. So if they plan to sell at least one Bitcoin or do something with their Bitcoin, they need to fill these forms. Yeah. Of course, when this happened, all the FUD and all the clowns that want to harvest viewers and followers on social media do this, but it's really FUD.
Also, don't forget the basic operations. At the beginning, these miners were doing this on a regular basis. It was normal operation. It's you mine Bitcoin, you sell it to pay the electricity, mine more Bitcoin, sell it to pay. That's like the actual gold companies operate. They don't hold gold. They just sell it to finance the operation. Originally, all the mining companies were like this. They were supposed to be operating companies that produce fiat, actually. The earnings were supposed to be fiat. Later on, when Strategy started deploying its own strategy, Mara came up as the second one, being a miner and holding Bitcoin on the long term, and not only holding, I think at some point they also deploy some convertible bonds or something like that to acquire more Bitcoin, right?
Yes, so in the that's the point, because in the past, the operation of the mining companies were mine Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin, and get fiat to pay the costs. What the different thing in this, let's call it cycle, so everyone understand, is that they have found another source of income, that is the data centers. But at the end of the day, it's good because they are not forced to sell all their Bitcoins. Now, probably they can keep the biggest amount of Bitcoin, unless it's this bit, the one that sold all their Bitcoin, because they will be now 100% dedicated to AI data center, but they sold 900 or something.
Yeah, I think
so,
bit dear, yes.
Bit dear. So yes, of course, when this happens, all the clowns in social media use this for harvesting views and get some few money from the monetization of X. That's why we are here to clarify, and to clarify people, don't follow these clowns, just don't trust, verify.
Yeah, and also maybe just to close on Mara, the CEO, so Fred Thiel, which is the CEO and of the company, stated multiple times over the last years that Mara is not only a Bitcoin miner. Mara is a technology company. Mara is in between energy, innovation, AI, Bitcoin, etc. So you always try to give this perspective that is not only a Bitcoin miner. They try to do this kind of evolution, which I think is it makes sense. It's normal because Bitcoin mining is super competitive. The hash rate can literally grow up and destroy your business model if you're not super efficient. And so now they built this amazing capacity of energy, and now they can use it on the best deal that they can find. This doesn't mean that they don't believe anymore in Bitcoin. This doesn't mean that they're gonna sell all the Bitcoin. It means that they will use Bitcoin mining every time it's more profitable than giving the power for AI data center or other kind of deals. So actually, Bitcoin mining is more the balancing factor of the business model. When you have excess energy and nobody wants to use your energy, you turn on the machine and go full on the Bitcoin mining. If for some moment you have peak of AI or for the deals that they are building, or for the normal electricity grid in Texas, they switch and give back electricity to the where the demand is. So I think Mara is probably the biggest company try to become this hybrid real world, digital world AI kind of player. So, and they're also expanding their business model in Saudi Arabia, in France with Exaion. So they are very active in to try to become more global.
I really like the business model in the sense that 4 years ago, I thought this is where it's going to head. At the time, these mining companies were simply mining Bitcoin miners. And 4 years ago, we started talking that maybe a better, a more useful business model would be when they start implementing the ability to sell energy to the grid while mining Bitcoin. So in moments where energy prices go up, you can turn off your miners and drive revenue through selling the power back to the grid. In the moments where Bitcoin price is below the cost of mining, you can turn off your Bitcoin and do that. But on the opposite, when Bitcoin is in a bull run and now you're generating more profits by mining Bitcoin than by selling the energy to the grid. So it's a self-balance mechanism. It's very healthy as a company to have these two options. Also, they help the local infrastructure to balance the grid, the electric grid. And now it's the third leg that we were missing 4 years ago, which is AI. Now you can also drive revenue by providing the service to the data centers. So it's getting full. You have the three legs of the perfect machine. It's energy, it's AI, and it's Bitcoin. Nothing can go better than that.
Yes. And let's come back a little bit to YouTube. What do you think about Saylor strategy? 100% of the people is voting brilliant, and a big greetings to Crypto for Life 971. He's sending greetings to the channel. So greetings for him or her. Before moving to the next point, I was talking about the clowns. So I want to point something that a clown posted on X. Do you allow me?
Surprise me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me share this. Remember last week we were talking about the
XRP friends.
You really like to roast us, Fernando, to create this kind of fire.
Because it's incredible that of course, the people who post this get paid probably to create this stupid infographic with AI and to post and spam old X. XRP designed for real use, built for payments, challenged by SEC, legal clarity, growing use case, and next is global adoption. Utility always wins. Guys,
pure garbage.
XRP is designed to scam you. Is designed to scam you, to take money from the people and give to the owners. It's not designed for real use. It's crap. It's a scam. As we said in our Spanish show, financial advice. This is a financial advice. Don't buy shit coins or meme coins, especially this crap of XRP. Yeah, they are scams. So, but this fancy infographic may confundir. How is
confuse?
May confuse people. So, guys, don't fall on these scams. XRP, Ethereum, all this crap, the green Bitcoin. There is only one, and it's Bitcoin. That's the point. But it's funny to see how these clowns are still working.
They have a big marketing machine. So
yeah, I'm not gonna
give them that.
And the guy posted from a Twitter verified account, so they get money to pay the verification. I'm not gonna share the tweet of the guy, but it's funny how these clowns are still working. Any thoughts on that, Marco?
Yeah, I mean, they still have 82 billion in market value to use for this kind of nonsense and try to buy influencer, to buy more followers, to try to find the next one to buy their own narrative, which is completely nonsensical. It's a centralized token. It was completely valueless since day one. It's a shady organization behind the Ripple Foundation. It was literally an ICO with very few people taking the majority of the market cap. So complete garbage. And I'm sad for all those people believing in this instrument, which are completely going to zero, and even faster in Bitcoin terms, they're going to zero.
Yes. So let's stop sharing this crap and let's come to the last. Let's come back to the. Let's come back to the last slide. Chain Street market manipulation. The 10 a.m. Bitcoin dump is gone. And the funny thing is that cryptocurrency, if Chain Street didn't exist, we see a world super futuristic and very happy. What do you think about Marco?
Yeah, I think it was literally exploding on Twitter a few days ago with a big article from Justin Bachelor, I think, reached more than 6 million views. And I think people see this topic from the wrong perspective, saying, it's only Jane Street manipulating the market, so Bitcoin is not decentralized. Bitcoin is another scam, let's say, because only one player can manipulate it. The reality, of course, is like in between of those lines. For sure, Jane Street and other big players and Wall Street do normally, as market practice, buying spot Bitcoin and maybe shorting the future. So try to have these delta neutral arbitrage on Bitcoin. For sure, they've been pretty shady. And Fernando, I listen again the echo.
The echo, strange, because probably, let me.
And so yes, I think yeah, it's better. Jane Street for sure is like a central player on all the ETF for Bitcoin, being an authorized participant into the whole structure. And I mean, fun enough, when the lawsuit against them coming from Terra Foundation, which was this kind of blow off that we had in 2022. Apparently, this 10 a.m. dump on Bitcoin seems to be muted. So again, it was some kind of explosion of interest on Twitter. For sure, Bitcoin can be suppressed or can be kind of manipulated in the very short term. But as we all know, it cannot be forever. And for sure, only one player cannot justify why we crashed from 126 to 60K. But for sure, is a thing that we now needs to face, because before 2024, we didn't have this large player playing in our same playing field. Now the market structure is different, the participants are different, and the size of those institutions are completely different. So yeah, it's something that we need to learn. It's a constant learning process. So yeah, I don't know, guys, if you have more insight, or also for you it's just another X kind of story.
Well, my takeaway was that basically it's very difficult to control manipulation. It wasn't possible even in historical financial markets. Even gold was manipulated for several years. So Bitcoin is not different than that, even though we would like to think that it's decentralized. It's decentralized, but in some other aspects. You can be decentralized and still your price in the short term, as you mentioned, can be manipulated 100%. What we know is that in the long term, it's not possible to manipulate it. Somehow, the bigger forces of the market will drive the price to where it has to be. But in the short term, for sure, you can manipulate it in a couple of hours, move the price for whatever you want to do and make profit. And probably that's what they were doing. Also, all the Twitter posts were pointing out to this 10 a.m. trade. And we also see a graph where they actually draw some circles at that time. And I'm not pretty sure, I didn't actually verify by myself. I just saw the graphs. And the first day that they uncover the situation, they say, well, from now on, we don't have the manipulation. And then the Bitcoin price sham. That was a week ago, when we go from 62 to 67 in one day. And they correlate that to the news that Chain Street was not doing the manipulation anymore. Also, there was some other leaks of information of someone who have apparently contact with an employee inside Chain Street, and the employee allegedly say something like, my boss told me to stop doing this manipulation starting from tomorrow. But it's all rumors. Who knows what actually happened at the end? And the third point is that yesterday I was checking also the price at that exact time, and we also have a crash at that time. Then I was thinking to myself, is Chain Street actually over, or we are back in this shit? Or is some other player in the market doing the same thing? We will never know.
Yes, we will never know about that. So when the price drops, there are, especially now in this over communicated world, we have a lot of, we try to think that on the conspiracies, on all this stuff. Of course, the Bitcoin price can be manipulated as any asset of the world. But yeah, let's see. I think that we have to see how the market evolves. But I don't know. I don't have any conclusion of that. We need to see. Probably was casual that when all this crap came out, Bitcoin price went, disappeared this 10 a.m. Manipulation. But yeah, you said, yesterday happened. Again, is on the opening of the market. There are many people trying to operate, and a lot of people, a lot of capital trying to operate can trigger these things. So yeah, but someone needs to sell and needs to harvest again the attention and the visuals, the visualization. Marco?
Yeah, no, I think I think it's true. I still have echo, but yeah, I think what you said, guys, is correct. I mean, of course, the price of Bitcoin is there are so many variables, like hundreds, maybe thousands of variables. So I think that we can have some kind of suppression or some kind of bigger player that can kind of force into a range or can just try to manipulate it for a certain period of time. But the properties of Bitcoin we know that are unchanged. There will be unchanged. So at some point when we will have this realization from the new cohort of investors, new millions of retail, new companies, new buyers, the range will break and we will have new price discovery, as it always been and probably will always be in the future. So I think we're just interested because now we always want to find the bad actor. We always want to find the enemies. And so as this kind of news came out, everybody jump on the train and say, that's the point. I think it's much more complex than that. So
yes, I think this. So let's see what happened. Again, Bitcoin price moves like living creatures. So let's see. No one can predict. Now I was checking, price is going up 68.5. So let's see what can happen in the upcoming days with all the things that are happening in the world. So do you have anything else to discuss?
Maybe, guys, can I share just one chart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
No, he can.
So yeah, I think finally, after many months of obliteration of MSTR against Bitcoin and even more broadly MSTR against gold, we start to see maybe a formation of some kind of reversal trend. So as we can see here, we just kind of double touch this bottom line, which was the similar level to mid of 2024 of the chart for strategy once priced in IBIT. So we went down from 6, maybe even 7, down to 3. And now it seems that might be the trend kind of reversing. So I don't know, guys, if you notice it as well, if you have this kind of positive feeling that also the market is pricing in that might be the bottom behind us, and so give a bit larger premium strategy, giving more liquidity to treasury company and try to see this kind of inversion of the trend.
Yes, and we notice.
Oh, Marco is down. Marco probably touched the wrong button and he's done. He's gone.
So good is done.
Let's wait for a while. He's back. What happened, Marco?
Yeah, I don't know, some connection issue. So
okay.
Yeah, what we were saying is that we noticed since January up to here in the chart MicroStrategy over Bitcoin that you have an uptrend now. And you can also notice it almost in the day-by-day performance. Many of the past days when Bitcoin went up 3%, strategy went 6%. When Bitcoin went down 3%, strategy went down 3%, which is a good news, right? If on the way up you double, but on the way down you remain the same, it means you are every time mining yield against Bitcoin. So it's a good sign, and we can see the trend almost daily now. Hope it continues, and eventually we will get out of the deep waters.
Yeah, that's what we are waiting. Get out of the deep waters.
Yeah, finger crossed.
So I think that we don't have anything else to share with the people. I don't know if you want to share anything else, or we are done.
We can close it here.
We can close it here, and we can. Okay, let's see. To the people who is on the other side, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining our show. Before we leave, Marco, your social media.
Yeah, mainly on X, Battistoci93. And if you are Italian, you can also jump in for the Bitcoin Italia community. We are 60 people, and hopefully we will be many more in the coming months, trying to, help also Italian Bitcoiners to find some more news and information.
And if you try to speak Italian, you can join in.
Yeah, for sure. We will do. Fernando, I'm really excited to do the episode together, and you can broadcast to the world your Italian level, which is very good. So
it's gonna be a monster release. Imagine English, Spanish, and Italian. I think that would be the first one that broadcasts in 3 different languages.
Cool.
Yeah, we need to create the Bitcoin Libertarian in Italiano. So let's see. Thank you, Marco, for being here. See you next week with another episode of Bitcoin Treasury Company Report. I hope with Bitcoin going up, with strategy going up, and finally we can start giving good news to the people.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one.
Thank you to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, follow also Marco on social media, because doing so, you help us a lot to keep painting the world orange. Have a good day or a good night. See you next week.